Hey, well tonight I'm angry about the humanitarian crisis that exists at our borders, and while you may not realize it, there are a large number of people around the world who are desperate to get to America because they believe that it will lead to a better life. Now, those of us who are here know that life is certainly nasty and brutish, as Thomas Hobbes would say, but it may actually be better than the regions from whence they came. The problem is the fact that Joe Biden, during the first debate, basically encouraged a huge influx of refugees to attempt to enter the US. And I'm going to quote him directly. He said, "I would in fact make sure that there is. We immediately search the border. All those people seeking asylum, they deserve to be heard. That's who we are. We are a nation that says if you want to flee and you are fleeing oppression, you should come." It seems obvious to me that any reasonable person would understand that a country that has any kind of social safety net cannot afford to invite immigrants willy-nilly to enter the country, let alone illegal immigrants, and yet that is what we're doing. I'm not sure if there are humanitarian reasons for it. I'm not sure if there are political voting demographic reasons for it. All I know is that because Joe Biden has basically opened the border and encouraged immigrants to arrive, that has caused a huge problem on our border. Not only do we have adults being held in abysmal conditions, but so are children. You know, everybody was upset when, due to Trump's attempts to stop immigration, children were found to have been put in cages or at least separated from their parents. I'll mention that if you are arrested for a crime in the US, you as an American citizen will also be separated from your children, but that's a topic for another day. What we're talking about is the fact that there is a humanitarian crisis at the border, and it has been caused by Joe Biden and his invitation for people to attempt to enter the US. Now, Mexico's president is reportedly not too happy about this. He had worked with Trump both to stop people entering Mexico from the south and to stop people entering the US to the north. But the fact is that the humanitarian approach may turn out to be the opposite of a humanitarian approach. If you proclaim that your actions are humanitarian in attempting to allow people to enter the US, to claim refugee status, to escape persecution, or whatever other reason is being claimed, if your encouragement of their actions only leads to worse conditions for them, only leads to them being kept in cages, only leads to them overwhelming the border patrol, then you really haven't advanced their cause at all. I mean, a lot of people around the world are desperate for a better life, and I certainly have sympathy for them. But on the other hand, you do have countries that have a right to maintain a national border. And the humanitarian crisis that currently exists and is growing in intensity on our southern border is due to Joe Biden's encouragement of these people to attempt to enter the US. I don't blame them for attempting to enter the US. I'm sure it is a better life than they had before. But what is especially outrageous about this current situation is the fact that the Biden administration is actually blaming the Trump administration for the current situation. Donald Trump, whatever his faults, did attempt to seal the southern border. You may recall that he tried to even apportion money for a wall to attempt to maintain the southern border. Democrats don't like the idea. I'm not going to point the finger. I'm going to only point out that because of Joe Biden's irresponsible encouragement during the debates, many people are suffering on the border. It is a brutal journey to make it to America's southern border. People who are attempting this journey endure violence, rape, robbery, God knows what else. Many are murdered on the way. But the fact is that if we are encouraging them to come, we cannot be surprised when the number of people attempting to enter continues to increase. I believe the number was 100,000 people attempting to enter the US in February alone. The fact that we are encouraging them to attempt this entry is the reason why there is a humanitarian crisis. Children are being separated from their parents. Children are being kept in cells 24 hours a day. They're not getting sunlight. They are being miserably treated. The bigger problem is not the fact that these people are attempting to seek a better life in America. The problem is the fact that our administration, our current administration, the Biden administration, has recklessly encouraged these people to attempt to reach our border, knowing full well that it is going to overwhelm the forces that we have there to control the border. This is irresponsibility at its worst. And even worse than that is the fact that the Biden administration is attempting to blame the Trump administration for policies that are completely diametrically opposed to Donald Trump's policies. Donald Trump tried to close the border, tried to protect our borders. Joe Biden has opened them and has encouraged people to attempt to enter the US. The humanitarian crisis on our southern border that has begun and is only growing is entirely the Biden administration's fault. And any attempt to blame it on the Trump administration should be met with laughter. The crisis on our southern border is a question of people suffering. And while the Biden administration may believe that they're attempting to alleviate the suffering, all that they're actually doing is increasing it, exacerbating it, and ensuring that it will continue to become a bigger problem through the days to come. Please, can we finally take a look at these issues? Can we look at them as adults? And can we wake up?